pull up your slides and hand the microphone over to
Let's
you.
go. I really appreciate it. Hey, we appreciate this opportunity. I'm always like I'm just like everybody on this call. You know, I've been a broker owner, been a sales agent, been a site agent, been a relocation. So I'm just like you, but I'm also a coach, obviously, with Tom Ferry, and I've known Tom since the early '90s. So I'm bringing the heat today. All right, I'm going to bring the best of the best, and we're talking about how we can get 6 deals in 90 days. Like we had just mentioned, hey, there's so much of an opportunity. It's February. Can you believe it's already, Deanna, it's already the middle of February?
Crazy.
Wasn't it just New Year's Eve? Wasn't it just 2025?
It's insane. It's insane that this year is already flying by.
So we're going to talk about what is working out there right now. You know, I feel like I coach some of the best. So I'm going to give you some great ideas. And, you know, a great idea is only a great idea if what do we got to do with that idea? Deanna, what do we got to do with it?
Execute on it.
We got to execute. We got to implement it, right? There's so many people like, oh, that's a great idea. And then they never get to it. So while we're getting started, while everyone's logging in here, hey, let me ask you something. In the chat, tell us what worked for you in January. What worked for you in January? Let's see what everybody on here has to say. What's working for you right now?
Yeah, and the chat sometimes has a little bit of a delay. So if no one, I promise you, is ignoring you, you'll start to see those things pop up in there.
We've almost got 500 people on here. So what work? Oh, Susan, we got to change that. Nothing. Cold calls. I love that. Kelly, repeat buyer referrals, making calls, touching your sphere, SOI, consistency. Oh, I love all these things. Look. Oh, wow. Calling expireds. Oh, everybody is in luck because I'm going to be talking about a lot of those things. Oh, yeah, Kate, what's working right now? Anybody know what's working? You know what's working? Working.
And I have heard expireds are the thing right now, right? Like you see it all over. There's just so much opportunity in that. So
expireds, Deanna, you said earlier is, you know, don't forget when we get leads from sold.com, they made us just not be ready yet, but they did raise their hand. I'm hearing over and over and over again with clients right now that they're reaching out to leads from 6 months or a year ago, and now they're ready to do something. We all know that when, you know, January rolls around, there's plenty of buyer demand that people are like, hey, we're going to do something right now, or we're going to put our house on the market. So it is a great time to start off right now strong. So let's get right into the slides, shall we? So the idea, we know what's working right now. Obviously, I'm with Tom Ferry. Everybody can screenshot this QR code. We are all about just sharing and giving, and we talk about R&D, which is rip off and duplicate. We're just one of those. We just put it out there, and the idea is just make sure you execute on these ideas. So there's plenty of ways to hear what we're putting out there and the content as well. So what is working right now? Clearly, let's go through that. I'm going to bring to you what is working with my clients, what I'm seeing right now, and let's get right into it. What is working? I like to say clear envelope, clear advantage. Now, you're probably like, what are you talking about, Jeff? I got to tell you, this is a game changer for a lot of my clients. We probably heard it in different ways, but I want everybody to think about one thing. When's the last time you received a clear envelope in the mail? Yeah, can you think of any time?
No, I don't think ever.
So look at this. I've got clients that they're sending out equity updates or RPR reports or CMAs, whatever that looks like. I've actually got a client right now that generated $120,000 in GCI in 90 days by sending out, look at this. This is genius. This is Christine. I told her about this idea from one of my clients from a couple years ago who's been doing this consistently in Naples, Florida. Mike McMurray. You can see he's got a little bit about his team, but on the flip side, he's got an RPR, he's got, a Zestimate, and there's a sticky note. This is an oldie but a goodie that is still working, and he highlights the value and says, wrong, find out why. So it's in a clear envelope. Why do you think this works marketing? Why do you think people pay attention to this? What do you think, Deanne?
For me, it feels personalized. Like it wasn't just a mass mailing. Like it feels like you went and purposefully put it in my mailbox if I were to receive it as a consumer.
That's right. Also, it's right. It's not like just everything that we send out. We do a lot of just sold, just listed. Kind of interesting. You know why they pay attention? When you get something that has a picture of your home, are you going to look at it?
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. You're going to be like, what is this? What are you sending me? So the idea is I gave Christine this idea just a couple months ago, and she ran with it. In fact, on our coaching call, she went to Amazon. You can go to Amazon right now, order clear envelopes. Like I think 100 is like $15, U.S. postage approved. You can see the stamp, the return address. It's crazy that they will send it like this, but they will. And so she ordered it, and she came up with, she wanted to make it a little even easier. Everyone knows about an RPR report, which is a realtor property report, which is on your MLS. You know, Deanna, they can just go to their MLS, type in an address. I think under the template, hit seller template, and automatically it creates like a quick CMA to some degree and gives them a value of their home. And you hit print, and within it's basically like 5 minutes. Type in the address, click seller template, and then you got this. And then she puts it in the clear envelope. It's a good idea, isn't it?
I love this. And I think a couple things that like stand out to me too that are probably worth calling out are a lot of agents get so hung up on like the Zillow Zestimate is wrong. And then it creates like anger and this like, you know, this tension between Zillow.
That's right.
I worked for Zillow for a number of years in another life, and that was the most common customer service call that we got in. But this is where like the training that we would talk about, but also what you're, you know, coaching here is use that to your advantage, because you don't want Zillow or any other online estimate to be 100% right, because now they don't have a need for you as the expert. Like use it to your advantage to say Zillow is wrong, and this is why you need me to be able to get you what is actually right about your home.
I'm
value.
so glad you got that. It's like somebody in the comments says, what does it say on the sticky note? It just says wrong, find out why. You didn't say it was high. You didn't say it was low. You just said it was what?
Wrong.
Yeah, you just said something that was genius. You said you need to take advantage of it is wrong. And so that is an opportunity for us to say, here's the value that I bring, or here's what it's actually worth in the market, right?
Yep, 100%. Because we, as agents, we feel so threatened that these websites are going to take over our business. Don't let them, by actually reinforcing the fact that they don't need you. Like, don't make that the one-stop shop. And I think that's part of like what a lot of us need to do better is like separate ourselves and show the value of why you still need me as a person, which is saying, I know more than what this computer algorithm does. Let me get into your home. Let me show you value.
Here's what I think. Zillow, don't join them, leverage them.
Yes, 100%.
Leverage them, okay? So in this situation, Christine sent this out, and she's like, who should I send it to? And I go, why don't we start with your farm, which is her neighborhood? And I said, why don't we just start with like maybe 5 people this way on her street and 5 people this way on her street. And you know what it did? It made, she felt like she was more knowledgeable about the neighborhood. It was, she spent probably, I think she sent out 2 a day. She probably spent 30 minutes to 45 minutes a day to send it out. And then the key is you're going to then call them. Now, she'll admit she was scared to death. Nobody likes to make cold calls. Nobody likes to call their neighbors. This could be weird and awkward. So she was kind of scared. And let me tell you what started happening. First off, I want to give you the script, everybody. Here's another couple examples, 3 or 4 of my other clients. One of my clients right there, Kathy Gagnon up in Westchester, Pennsylvania. She just got a text message from her client that's like, they called her. She didn't even call them, Deanna. She sent this to them and go, I can't believe I can get this. Can I get this? And she said, obviously, let me do some research. Let me come over. She set an appointment. I think it was like $1 million listing. She made basically $20,000 or $30,000 off of this one idea in 1 week of doing this. Okay. So watch this. There's the RPR report. We all know this. Again, click the seller template. So here's an easy dialogue to someone you don't know or someone in your neighborhood. Hey, Deanna, I know you weren't expecting my call. I'll be real quick. I'm your neighbor here in Orlando, Wyndham, will you fill in the blank, wherever. Why is that important to say I'm your neighbor?
It builds immediate trust and brings their walls down. And
Exactly.
I know your area.
It says that most people nowadays, maybe they think it's a robocall. Maybe they think you're in, Nevada or not in your area, outside your area, whatever. But here's what we realize. When you say I'm your neighbor, you don't hang up on your neighbor.
Yeah.
So she has another minute or two, because when you call someone you don't know, they're sitting there going, what? Okay, what are you calling me for? So the first question is, I know you weren't expecting my call. You want someone to say, yeah, you're right. They're basically shaking their head like, yeah, what do you want? What do you want? They're not saying that, or they may say that. But when you say I'm your neighbor, everything she says, everything starts to change. And she asked one simple question. Did you happen to see the clear envelope I mailed you with the updated value on your home? She was shocked at how many people said, oh my gosh. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not just saying this to say this. I bet you she sent out 10 the first week. She said 7 or 8 people, once she got connected with them, they were so thankful. They were so appreciative. They looked at it. They kept it. It was something of value as well. And what do we do in our industry? We just send just sold, just listed postcards. And Deanne, what's on the front of a just listed, just sold postcard?
Someone else's house.
Bingo, someone else's house. Doesn't make any sense. People pay attention because it's theirs. So this is super easy. I would encourage everyone on this call. I noticed you even put in a link about ordering the clear envelopes. It's a game changer. You can send something and put it in and get it away right away as well. Super great idea. Is everybody up for that?
Yeah, this is genius. And as we connect this to sold.com stuff, like you said, sold.com people, they are requesting home valuations. They're requesting this information. So they're starting that journey. And a lot of people get so hung up because when they reach out to them, they're not ready to sell because they are really just in this infancy stage of the prospect or the discovery. So this is a great step to take with everybody, all of your sold.com leads, anything that's in your CRM today, because this is a good question too. How many people are in your CRM today? And that's a good temperature check of how many prospects do you potentially have to be able to send this out to tomorrow, right? Your Amazon order gets there in 2 days max. You can get this out by end of week. And how many people do you potentially have to get this out to, including your sold.com stuff, and start to have conversations. But I love this follow-up call too, because I think that is the missing piece for most agents is they just send the mailer out expecting the magic to happen, right? There's the story that you told of somebody calling them back. That is a miracle, right? We're all hoping that someone calls us back when we do some sort of.
We want the phone to ring, right?
Right. That never happens. So you have to take phase 2. The magic, you can't just go out there, throw everything out and hope and wait by the phones. You're going to be waiting for a very long time. take this step 2. And I think it's take control, right? You can only do, you can only affect the things that you can control. So take this next step of making this phone call on top of the things that you're doing outside of that.
You made it even better. And I would take all the requests from sold.com and send them this letter and then follow up with a phone call.
100%. Yep.
Right? Wouldn't you do that? I would tell you, if I had all these leads from sold.com in the past year, I would send this way and make the phone call. You got nothing to lose and so much to gain, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%.
So real quick, if you can see, that's 3 of my coaching clients they would never ever call a cold call. They would never call their past neighbors like this. And they are doing it together. And they're having so much success. Everybody in that call has gotten at least 2 listings in 6 weeks from this idea. 2 listings. Great idea. Next thing is, I call it the non-negotiable 5. Such an easy idea. Deanna, how many times have you heard people say, need to go back to the basics?
I say it constantly.
Got to go back to the basics. Here's what I truly think. The basics are the standard right now. Everyone has gone back. I want everybody to think about what you did your first year or two in the business. We probably did everything. I knew I did a ton of open houses, and I talked to everybody, and I went to lunch with people, and I sent out text messages, and I sent out mailers. I did everything. And then I think over time, we start to realize maybe we don't have to do that, or maybe we can short circuit things, and maybe we don't have to do all these things. But if you're slow, or if you're not reaching your goals, or the year hasn't started the way you want it to, go back to what I say, the non-negotiables. What are they? What are some non-negotiables? I want to see it in the chat. What are some non-negotiables you got to do every day? What comes to mind? We got to make our calls. We got to prospect. We got to do some admin stuff. We got to do what? Put out some fires. We got to do some marketing. We got to do some social media. I think, look at this. Call your sphere, SOI. I love this. Calls. Christina, lead gen, Danielle, love it. We know all these things. So here's the idea. Let me skip to the next one. The basics can make you rich. The boring things will add up. So I got to tell you, I've got clients, and I'm not kidding you, that are doing 30, 40, 50 million a year, which is pretty good. They're just doing this. 5 CMAs a week. They have a goal of 2 lunch or coffee meetings or happy hours a week with their sphere or their past clients. They send out 10 personal texts a week. That's 2 a day. We can all do that. 5 handwritten notes, 25 calls, and 5 posts and 5 DMs and 10 likes and 10 likes and comments on social media. Why do you think this works?
Consistency, and you're holding yourself accountable. You have something to actually do consistently to build up your pipeline.
Totally. So I think what we know, that if everybody is rolling right now, we know that you worked hard in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. So what we do today, like you just said, we can change our lives. We can change our business if we start doing something right now for the next 90 days, because we're going to affect March, April, and May, and even the summer right now. You're building your business for the spring market right now. So here's a great question. Deanna, when do you think sellers meet with agents when they're thinking about putting their house on the market in the spring?
I mean, now.
Bingo, right now.
They're not doing it the day before.
That's right. It usually takes 2 weeks to a couple months to get the home on the market. So we've got to be doing these things consistently so we can have that pipeline. We're loading the pipeline up for the next couple months to some degree. So all these things work. I don't think I mentioned this on our last call in September, but this is one of my clients, Cassie Carey. She came into my schedule probably 5 or 6 months ago, and she's like, Jeff, I don't know if you're going to like me. And I go, why would you say that? She's like, I've got 5 kids. I go, okay, I'll assume that time is super important. She goes, yeah, the reason I don't think you're going to like me is because I can only work from 9 to 1 o'clock. I go, okay, let's figure out what we need to do. She's got a finite period of time, because she's like, she gets everybody ready for school. She drops them off. And then at 1 o'clock, she does it all over again. So she's got basically 4 hours. So you can see here, I'm going to challenge everybody one thing. If you screenshot this, Dan, you probably know this. If you screenshot this and throw it in ChatGPT and say, create this spreadsheet in an Excel file within seconds, you'll get exactly what you're looking at right now. So many people are like, can I have this? You don't even need to do that anymore. Just screenshot this, throw it in ChatGPT, and within minutes, you'll have an Excel file that looks like this. So what's on this file? She's got 5 things she needs to do every day. We came up with 5 things she needs to do on a weekly basis and 5 things she needs to do on a monthly basis. And this is all she does. What do you think about that?
It's incredible. It's something that's repeatable. It's something she can hold herself accountable to.
What if I told you that she worked 4 hours a day, has 5 kids, has been in business 4 years, moved to an area where she didn't know anybody, and she made $1 million last year?
Anything's possible with work, with hard work.
This. That's right. So the idea, I think everybody on this call is we've got to be consistent. And maybe her first 5 things, I don't know if everybody can see that, is she wants to add one person to her CRM every day. She wants to send out one handwritten note every day. She wants to have 5 connections, and she wants to post on Instagram and Facebook once a day. That's pretty easy if you really think about it. Now watch this. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that board right there?
Yep.
Those are all the handwritten notes I've received in my career. I save them. Handwritten notes go a long way. I think if somebody spends the time to write it out, I keep it. I know there's clients of mine up there that I've given referrals to because they sent me handwritten notes. So to me, for everybody on this call, we got to just do things consistently. Do the boring work and it will add up. So watch this. How much does it cost to call someone in your database?
Nada.
How much does it cost to email?
Nothing.
Text?
Nothing.
What if I told you they convert 3 to 5 times higher than other lead sources? See, we're forgetting about the people that already know you, like you, and trust you to some degree. See, I think when we're in the very beginning, when we're getting a lead and we don't quite know them yet, they're asking themselves one thing: why should I work with you? But when it comes to your sphere, they already know you. They already trust you. They're already referring you business. We just got to stay in front of them to some degree. See, and the idea around the CMAs, when you make a commitment to send out these CMAs, it demonstrates that you're the expert, that you know the market, that you know the pricing. We should all know, everybody on this call should know the value of the sold.com leads that we have of their home. We should know our past customers' value of their home. We should know our sphere's past clients if they own a home as well. We should get in the habit of knowing that, checking that at least twice a year. Why is that important?
These are your potential clients. Just like anybody, any business, you know your clients. You need to understand who you're targeting, and then it helps you continue to stay updated with those people.
Totally. You totally get it. There's another example. This is Peter down in Miami. He screenshotted Cassie's thing, threw it in ChatGPT, and all of a sudden, everybody can do this. It's such an easy idea. Okay. Everybody that I'm coaching right now is consistent. Look, when you meet with somebody for coffees or lunch or happy hour, whatever, it's maintaining that relationship that you have. Don't forget, business follows proximity. The people that are closest to the clients win. Tom said that a few seminars ago. So we got to stay in touch in front of more of our past clients. That's why lunches, coffee meetings add up. And in the text, it's also keeping you top of mind without feeling annoying. You know, the text should be, saw this and thought about you. Hey, a quick market note you might find helpful, or congratulations on something that's happening in their life. It's just staying present. Look, when we fall asleep or we don't stay in front of our clients, somebody else is. Think about that. Let's see what else we got there. We talked about the handwritten notes. They're super important. So when it comes to conversations, and this is, I think I may have shared this on our last call or maybe a year or so ago, everyone's looking at these marbles going, what are these marbles? I got to tell you, I've got clients that are making $1 million a year, and I'm not kidding on that, with marbles. They have 50 marbles in one cup, and by the end of the week, they got to turn those marbles into the other cup. Super easy. It's a great visual. Isn't it a great visual?
Yeah, it is.
Such an easy. So look, you don't build a real estate business by chasing strangers. You build it by showing up consistently for the people that know you, everybody. So let's talk about something that is super important to me. There's a lot of complaining out there right now in the industry, and most agents are complaining because they can't convert. So let's talk about increasing conversions, okay? Deanna, I think we talked about that before we got started. It's like we got to recognize that we got to look at ourselves like the leads get better when you get better. I'm so tired.
One of your quotes. That is one of my favorite one of your quotes.
Right. It's like we can't control the leads. All we can control is what we say and how we say it and what the follow-up looks like. I'm getting so tired of everyone's spending all this money for these leads, and everybody's like, well, the leads aren't any good. I go, well, maybe you're not maybe you can improve. Maybe you're not as good. We got to look at ourselves, because I think all you're ever doing, especially with Sold.com, somebody has raised their hand. What was the stat you told me last time that you look back like in the past year or two? It was something crazy, like 50 or 60% of them ended up putting their home on the market within, was it 12 months or 18 months? I can't remember.
18 months. Yep, 18 months. It's like 52%. Yep.
So half of all the leads that's being generated from Sold.com end up putting their home on the market. Those are good leads. Like,
it's just
that's
a matter of
good
when
conversion.
and with who. That's really the big question, is when are they going to list and with who?
And you know what I look at? They had the lead in their hand. They messed up. The only way you can get better is saying, what could I have done better? What could I have improved on? Okay. When you blame the leads weren't any good. You're not really solving the problem. You're just in this vicious circle that you're making up this story in your head, right? Don't you feel that or see that?
100%. I'll share it later, but we had a review come in yesterday from an agent named Melinda Larson, and I had it up because it was reminding me of it. But she said, of course, all the leads say I'm not looking to sell, because that's what every seller says right up until they do sell.
That's right.
And it's like such a great line, because we all get so turned off instantly when they're like, I'm not looking to do anything, I'm not interested. And then flash forward, they do something. But I think the flaw that we have as humans is like, it's immediately like, it was them, it was nothing. Where can we look at ourselves and say, what could have we done differently? Have we done differently? And it's okay to not dwell on that last one, it's gone. But now what can we do differently going forward on the next lead to get the next client?
And Deanne, I tell you what I've seen, because I know what you're doing and I know what other companies are doing as well. They're just getting someone to say, I might want to do something. They're looking at their options. And I think as agents, we screw up thinking they're ready to sell. So when do you want to get together and do a listing presentation? Wrong.
Yep.
Right? Wrong.
Yep.
They're looking at their options. They may want to rent it. They may want to refinance. They may want a cash offer. They may want to list it. It's all, so it's not like, I think everyone's thinking like, I'm going to get these leads that they're come list me calls. No, they're not. No, it's a longer period. It does happen.
We'd keep those leads and start a brokerage if they were all come list me calls.
Think about that. That's right. You would solve the game that everybody's been trying to solve in 30 years of my existence in real estate. So yeah. We still haven't solved that. We're just giving everyone an opportunity. And if you flub that opportunity, let's talk about how we can not mess up that opportunity. So watch this. I want everybody to think about this. No appointments equal no income. Let that sink in. If you don't get in front of a seller or a buyer, your chances of making a sale are pretty weak. So we've got to get better at being more persuasive. We got to get better at what we say. So watch this. How do we improve our conversion? Let's start with this. We got to improve what we say, blah, blah, blah. We get paid to run our mouth. So let's improve the blah, blah, blah that we say. See, I look at if someone gets 10 opportunities and they set 2 appointments, they're kind of weak on their conversation skills, and maybe they're weak on their presentation skills. But another agent 2 that goes on 4 appointments, they basically said something right on the phone. So they've got good conversation skills and maybe good presentation skills because they sold 2 houses. But then where everybody wants to be is someone that gets 10 leads and converts it to 6 appointments that lead to 4 sales. Great conversation skills, great presentation skills. So I want you to start thinking, I'm always thinking, why are they saying that, or where are they coming from? So what really matters is our first thought when we engage with somebody. I want you to think about what's your first thought and what's your next question. Okay. Be empathetic. Put yourself in their shoes. Why are they saying that? So watch this. Look, I came up with this. You're going to love this, Deanne. When a potential Sold.com lead says, I'm just curious about my value, what are they actually saying?
I'm starting the conversation. Prove yourself to me.
I'm just starting it. They want to find the expert. But you know what they're really saying? They're saying, I'm thinking about something, but I'm not what?
Ready to admit it. Yep.
Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Doesn't that hit home right there? I'm thinking about something, but I'm not willing to say I'm going to put my home on the market. I'm not really saying I want to list my home. I'm not ready to make that commitment. But if you think about it, that's the first step. Like we're delivering leads where this is the first step.
Yeah. And I think the question that I have then is, and it's more of a what this is the most common response that agents will get to a sold.com lead. I was just curious. And so then the question is right now, what are you doing with that response? How are you reacting to that response? Are you
So say what's on the screen, Deanna, say what's on the screen. We'll role play.
Yeah, that makes sense. When people get curious about value, it usually connected to something, what's going on.
And what are you by asking that question, what are you trying to figure out?
You're trying to dive in deeper into like bringing, I always think you're bringing down their scared wall. Nobody wants to be sold. Nobody wants to be pushed into anything. So now you're trying to actually get their response back into what's triggering the thought of curiosity around your house value.
100% right. You're right. You're trying to figure out their motivation. You're trying to figure out their pain point. So if you ask me that, what's going on? I got to be honest, we're empty nesters and we're thinking, should we sell our house? Should we refinance? Should we stay here? Should we move somewhere else? It's all up in the air. But if someone had called me and said, well, I got this lead and it says you registered on sold.com and when would you like to get together so I can show you what your home is worth? I'd be like, whoa, hold up, slow down, hold your horses. See, I think, can everybody recognize that if we say the wrong thing in the first moment we meet somebody, we could mess this up. You could go in a totally different direction. So the agent that follows up with like, when do you want to get together? When do you want to list your home? When do you want to put your house on the market? They do not want to hear that. They're not even there yet.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
100%. I think this is the best temperature check that everybody should be doing for themselves is every single one of you on this call that is receiving sold.com leads are getting that I'm just curious. What are you doing with that response mentally? Are you pushing through to say something like this, or are you immediately deeming it bad lead? Unfortunately, what most people do is they shut down and deem it bad lead and put it into that bad category. And
right.
That's the difference between that person who is going to potentially get that listing coming through. Because I saw a question come through of, well, I get a notification saying it listed with somebody else. It's because they went on to do something and you weren't the person that was at the top of the mind for them. They just listed with somebody else generally in the world.
That's right.
So it is a matter of staying top of mind so that when it is time for them to list, you are the natural first top of mind person that they think about.
So there was a question in there. What happens if they say they didn't request a home valuation? I think people click things and they don't know what they click sometimes. So that obviously could happen.
Yeah.
But if someone said that to me, I would almost be like, well, I was reaching out and I thought maybe you're looking at, first off, do you own a home or do you have any interest in possibly figuring out the value of your home? I would almost apologize, like I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out if there's any kind of motivation at all to some degree, right?
Right, because sometimes they just got scared, right? Like maybe they did request it, but what's the easiest way to get out of a conversation? Oh, I didn't do that. Because now maybe your introduction came on a little bit too strongly, because that's the other thing is, why are they giving you that response? Did you call and say, I saw you came on sold.com looking to sell your home? Like, no, I didn't request anything. Or like, what is it? Sometimes, again, there's a piece that's you, but is there potentially something that you could be doing? One of our top agents that's in our network, he does exactly what you mentioned, which is takes more of the apology route, but then takes control back of the conversation, which is, hey, I'm so sorry. I'll definitely look into that to see what happened here. While I have you on the phone,
right?
Do you have any curiosity? Because I wrote this down earlier, but one of the phrases that I love that you use is equity update versus, and that's the same thing to me. I interpret that as home valuation. Right. Everybody buys a house for what reason? Investment, equity, right? Otherwise we keep renting. So as a homeowner myself, I'm constantly curious, just like I am with my stocks, how much equity I'm earning on the back end. And that is like such a trigger point of, while I have you on the phone, would you be interested in having an equity update on your property? But push it through one extra step, like further, than just immediately taking the L of not interested, bad lead, see you later.
You know, while you were saying that, I was like, it's called a knee-jerk no. It's a reaction like, no, not interested. I don't know what I did. Leave me alone. Like, and it could be the way we're saying this, or maybe we need to, how about we prepare? How about this? How about we think the worst? We're going to follow up with this lead and they're going to say, maybe they did it, but they're going to say they didn't do it. How can you adjust? Here's another great question. Read that one. What do you think about this one, Deanna?
Are you just tracking the market or considering making a move in the next 6 to 12 months?
All right. Words have meaning. This is called the illusion of choice. You're saying, are you a tire kicker? Are you just seeing what's going on? Or are you thinking about making a move in the next couple months? It also figures out their time deadline. Don't you like that one?
Yeah, I love it because it allows them to feel it. Because again, it's all about the less pressure. Like I've had agents tell me that they use like, oh, would it be something you're thinking about in the next like 2 to 3 years? It also takes the pressure off of, I'm not going to try to get you to sell your house today. Like, oh, no problem. Like I have a lot of clients that are just thinking about selling in the next 3 to 5 years, and they're more curious about what their house value is. Takes the pressure off, but allows for the truth to potentially come out.
So what's this say right there? It was basically what you just said. What's it say?
What originally got you thinking about the value of your property? What prompted you to check now?
Can you see that's so much normal, and we're trying to build a relationship on these leads. And I think that's where people, they mess up or they go wrong. Hey, you registered on sold.com. Were you looking to sell quickly or just exploring your options? I've got plenty of my clients that are using sold.com, and the thing that they always say is, let's talk about your options. Let's get together and let's go through your options. It's about options.
It's not scary. Yeah, it's not a scary term, right? It's just options. And because one of the options could be no.
So there's all those questions. I think we just got to get better at our responses. So when a seller says, we just want to think about it, let's shift gears. Let's say we're doing a listing presentation and you've done a listing presentation. It was the best thing you've ever done. And they go, all right, well, we just want to think about it. What are they actually saying? You've been there for an hour or two. You've done a listing presentation. They say, we just want to think about it. What are they actually saying at that moment?
That they're not ready to make a decision, or that they haven't proven the value yet.
I'm not convinced you're the right agent. You still haven't sold them on you. There's still unknown questions that they're thinking about. They still may talk to another couple agents. They still may haven't figured out what they were looking for. So you got to recognize that. So you got to change the question. Again, first thought, initial thought, first question would be, what's like at that moment, you should say, what specifically do you want to think through before you decide? I think most people, it's called mirroring when you say, well, what do you want to think about? And that doesn't go anywhere. You know, hey, we want to think about it. Well, what do you want to think about? Can you realize that you're almost starting a fight by asking that? Because now they're on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a great question. What part of the plan still feels unclear or uncertain? Oh, you're going to uncover the real true reason why they want to wait. When you say thinking about it, what are you comparing this to? Another great question. Or what would need to happen for this to feel like this is the next step? Or here's a great question around timing. Is this about timing, or is it price or confidence in the strategy that I just showed you? You're trying to figure out where you messed up to some degree. What are you thinking? Good stuff, everybody. Give me some feedback in the chat. What are you thinking? Oh, I love that. Wendy, you're like, I may not have answered their questions. That's a good thought. Maybe they want to talk it out. Oh, I got to tell you, this is a game changer. I don't know if I'm sure anybody that's in the Tom Ferry world knows Jill Biggs. This is such a genius idea. Deanna, think about this. She's on a listing presentation. And let's say it's a couple. And if you think about a couple, you're doing a presentation. At some point, they just want you gone so they can talk about it. That makes so much sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
Like you may be the one, but they just want you're there. They want to talk about you without you there. So she recognizes this. She does it all the time. She says, hey, Deanna, you two talk about it. I've got some calls to make. I'll go out in my car for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and address any questions that you have. And she gets the listing signed every single time.
Love that.
Genius.
It's so simple and genius. And I think everybody already knows the questions that are traditionally going to come up, the objections, even when you're cold calling, because you said it before. Start to prep for the just curious. Stop getting surprised when you get the just curious call, and prep for it so that you're more surprised when you get the yes, I'm looking to sell, so that
That's
you
right.
can get really good at overcoming that. But similarly here, like you said, if my husband and I are sitting and we are talking about anything, we're remodeling our house right now, right? They've come to talk about the windows. We're not going to have this private discussion of like, I don't know, I think it's expensive, but I like it. We are going to talk about it afterwards. So if you can make that part of your process already, and don't wait for the awkwardness to happen, like that is your script. That is your outline of how you work. Like that is genius and will revolutionize how the close of your business happens. Because now it's give them the time, give them the grace, and now come back in when they've had that moment.
I like to say, when you're going on a listing presentation, assume three things: that they're talking to another agent, that they'll want you to do it for less, and they'll want more than you're recommending. When you go, we're always so positive, like, oh, it's going to work out. It never does. So when we assume the worst, we're prepared for that objection. Let that sink in, guys, everybody. It's like, if we, like Deanna just said, if we prepare for we're just curious, then when they say yes, it's so much easier, because we're learning how to handle that objection by asking the right question. So real quick, I know I just got a few minutes left, but when a buyer says we want to wait, what are they really saying? They're saying, I'm afraid of making the wrong decision. I'm afraid of overpaying. I'm afraid of locking in at a rate that maybe it's going to be lower in the next couple months. We forget this can be confusing, and this can be a little scary for most people. So when most people, whether it's a seller or a buyer, they say they want to wait, we need to start asking questions like this: is, in your mind, what has to happen before this becomes the right move? Next great question. What do you feel unsure about right now? What originally got you thinking about making a move? You're going back to their motivation at that moment. Are you waiting for rates to go down or values to adjust? Basically, that is an illusion of choice. You're giving them two choices that they have to answer. And you know what? A lot of my clients are saying this: these are conversation starters.
Correct.
They don't stop the conversation. They're not yes, no questions either. They have to explain themselves. So when you say wait, are you thinking weeks, months, or next year? What a great way to figure out the timeline on that situation. Okay. So the idea is go two questions deeper. I'm going to skip through this because we've got like basically 5 minutes left. And as always, I just brought another 80 other slides that I didn't get to, Deanna.
And that's the good part of that I will remind, we will be sending out the slides. So all the 80 that you don't get to see, and all the ones that you wanted to go back to, you can look at them at your own leisure.
Everybody on this call is so lucky because we've given you so much there. So take it away, Deanna.
No, sorry about that. I did that on accident.
No worries. So the last thing, I think people go in sales mode. So when people say, oh, I'm waiting for rates, you know what most agents say? Well, Deanna, if you wait, when rates go down, values go up. That's so salesy. That's fear selling. Like, you're going to pay more if you don't make this decision. Like, that's so salesy. And I hear agents say it all the time. So to me, you can't go in that situation. When buyers say we want to work with a few clients, here's what they're really saying. They're still looking for an expert. So here's some other great questions. Most buyers say, hey, we're looking for a deal. To me, I'm always thinking, well, what does a deal mean to you? Like, a deal means something different to everybody else. What they're really saying is, I want to feel smart. I don't want to overpay. Maybe I'm price conscious. At least you're understanding that by asking great questions. So again, Sales 101 is ask more questions. Let me see the last slide or two, and then I'll turn it over to you. Oh, I made a ton of money doing a ton of open houses by asking these three questions. Has anyone explained the process of buying a home? Most people say no. That's an opportunity for you to get their information. Another great question is, if there's a way to save you time and money in the process, would you want to know about it? Everybody says yes to that. And then the one that's working all the time is, if I found you an off-market property that fits your needs, would you want me to reach out to you? And everyone says yes to that. What an opportunity for you to get their contact information that way. Okay. So I already said, what are you thinking? What's holding you back? We're going to make next year the best thing. Last thing, there's a lot of good news out there. Rates are heading in the right direction. Do you realize that purchasers' buying power has increased by 10% from this time last year to where rates are right now? That's a lot of money. That means on a $500,000 house, they can afford a $550,000 house. We need to be telling people about this as well, because half of all buyers are also sellers as well. Okay, so the other day when rates went below under 6%, a lot of our clients shot this video, and guess what? Both these clients here got business from that video that day, from shooting that video. Let me see what else I got. Looks like rates are going to be kind of flat or average appreciation this year. There's going to be a little bit more listings out there, which is a good thing. I think we're moving towards a balanced market across the country. Not going to go through that. Not going to go through the AI. And I want to go to the end. Anyways, let me see if I can get to, hey guys, y'all are going to get a lot of good stuff here. This is ways to get more business from AI. SEO traffic is super critical right now. So you need to make sure we're talking about following up. I've got some expired scripts right here as well. Hey, quit getting ready to make your calls, whatever that looks like. And we can substitute calls for text messages. We can substitute the non-negotiable files. Hey, let's get started. Let's make sure we're doing what we need to do right now consistently. That's all I got right now, Deanna. Good stuff.
And this is incredible stuff. And so, I mean, like I said, if you haven't been taking notes, I've been taking notes on things. Like, you will get these slides, you will get the recording of this. You guys can go back and review all of the different scripting. But one of the, I think, overriding things that came to me was, it's back to the basics, right?
Right.
It really is. Like, I've talked about this actually with our internal teams of, I don't really believe in beginner's luck, but there is the concept of beginner's luck, right? Are you actually really lucky just because you started out? No, traditionally, the reason you have beginner's luck in anything is you're doing things the way that you were specifically taught to do them, the way that you should be doing them, right?
Right.
And
then, got away from them.
Exactly. And all that stuff gets away from you. You get a little too comfortable. You win once. And so you start to think, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. But you
don't need to do that. I'm good.
Right. You get this false confidence that comes in, and we lose so much of it. So it's like, really, a lot of this, I like to be like introspective on myself. And again, there are so many external factors, right, that you cannot control, but you can control what you're doing. So it is asking yourself right now of, are you actually doing all the things you used to be doing when you first started in this business? Are you doing that? And maybe this is a great therapy session for everybody to put that in your chat. Be honest with yourself. Put it in the chat. Are you, when you were your most successful and had your best year ever, are you doing the exact same things that you were doing then?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Most people say no.
Most people should say no. And if the answer is yes, and you feel like you're doing everything you were,
then we got a bigger problem. We got another problem.
There's a bigger problem. Something backward is happening, right?
Right.
And so it's like, that is such a good, like, honest and vulnerable thing to put out there about yourself, and say, no, I'm not doing the things that I was doing before, and I'm not doing all the work. Because if you can just start doing, like, that's why these slides are amazing. You can just start doing these things, which really are not hard. The hardest part is just executing on them, which is how you started this conversation, actually doing them. But the concepts in there, when you listed all those things they should be doing on a 5, like all the back to the basics tools, not hard things to be doing. You just have to do them.
Yeah, can I chime in? And this is going to be a compliment to sold.com. If you're telling me half of the leads that we're delivering end up doing something in 18 months, that is phenomenal.
Yep.
But the problem is, we got to pay attention to them for 18 months. And most people can't do that. That's the real issue. And that's why it's the consistency. I'm going to not name a company, but their conversion ratio is like 3 to 5%. So you guys are at 50% and they're at 3 to 5%. Your leads are pretty good. We need to look at ourselves and go, maybe I can do a better job. Maybe I need to come at it in a different way instead of like, they're ready to go. They're ready to list. Best conversion I've heard in any lead source.
100%, 100%. And that is the question I had on there too. If you are somebody who feels as though, whether it's sold.com leads, Zillow leads, realtor.com leads, any leads, are you doing the things that were talked about today? Like, are you doing all the things that were talked about today? Are you sending mailers? Are you calling those people? Are you staying in touch with them for 18 months? And if your answer is no, then it may not be the lead. And I say that also with the grain of salt is with sold.com leads or anywhere, are all leads that you get going to be good? No. And if are going in with that expectation, you're also setting yourself up for failure too, because a good majority, like we can say 50% is great, but also there's another 50% that probably sucked, right? Like, so we have to look at both sides of that coin. But again, you can only control what you can control. So if you are finding that your leads aren't working, can you really look at yourself and say, I'm doing everything I should be doing on those leads? When Jeff walked through all of those different steps that you should be doing, your cold calls, your CMAs, your outreach to them, are you doing those things? And if your answer is no, then you have to look at yourself and figure out, okay, it's something I'm doing that's making these leads not convert.
Self-accountability. It's about
exactly us. Like accountability is huge. This job isn't easy. It's a lot of work. I saw somebody in the chat, and I can't remember what your name is. I think it may have been Todd, but he's like, it's like this is a full-time job or something.
That is what the market has been to. It's like, we got to get back to work. What's working is working. So that works.
Yes, get back to the basics. So there were a lot of questions that generally came up about sold.com. So like I said, I'm going to be doing a raffle for a free zip code in a hot second. So bear with me for a minute just to do a recap for those of you guys who had questions. One of the questions I saw on repeat was, how does sold.com get their leads? So sold.com is doing it in a couple different ways. And I know this slide doesn't mirror that, but one is consumers can come directly to sold.com and fill out a questionnaire that talks about their goals. Two is we have ads that we run on Facebook, on Google. We have partnerships, landing pages, email marketing that run ads. Our most common ads, and we run a lot of them, are find out what your house is worth and get a cash offer on your property. We find that 10% of people wind up doing something within the first 12 months of the find out what your house is worth type of client, right? And that's within that first year of people. So not everybody is coming directly to sold.com. They are looking at landing pages. They do have emails that are coming through. And honestly, even if they did come to sold.com, a lot of times, I don't know. Like I said, we just bought a house and remodeling. I couldn't tell you where I just bought the bathtub that I just did it. Did I buy it from Home Depot? Did I buy it from Lowe's? Like, I don't know. I have a bathtub. But I don't remember the store I bought it from. So don't get so hung up on that. Get back to the point of, I saw you requested this home valuation. And like we talked about, if you're getting that pushback of, I didn't, don't just turn off immediately. Hey, no problem. I'll look into that. While I have you on the phone, are you interested in understanding what your equity looks like right now? I've had a conversation internally with our own company of, with your own sphere of influence, like from a human perspective, we all know whether we do it or not, we should get annual physicals, right? At certain ages, whether you're male or female, there's also other certain checks you have to get every year. But we know as people that it is the best practice to get your annual physical done.
So true.
Do that similarly for your clients. Establish that like status quo of every year you should be getting, or every 3 years, whatever that number looks like, an equity update. And I am your go-to primary care doctor for that. I am your go-to person. Like, create yourself as their go-to, but create that routine of every 3 years, every 5 years, I check in on you to do an equity update. I talk to you about things you could be doing to your house to help you increase your home value, but set that precedent up front so that when they do go on and sell their home, we can start to increase the number of people who work with the same agent again, because you're continuing to keep yourself relevant. You're not making yourself just a transactional figure for that one point. The other question that came in is, how is sold.com vetting or getting these leads out to you? So operationally, actually, let me go back to this page. consumer comes online requesting a home valuation and our concierge team is not qualifying. Let's make that clear. They are not qualifying the client for you. If we were qualifying every single client, we would not be able to talk to anybody because no one's willing to admit they're looking to sell on that first call.
That's right.
We're doing exactly what you should be doing. I got your request for a home valuation. I was calling to get that scheduled for you. If you don't mind me asking, what had you interested in that? And guess what? Sure. We hear the same objections you hear. I didn't request anything. I'm not looking to sell my house. And then we navigate it with pulling back. Hey, no problem. We just want to be able to discuss options with you, help you understand what your equity looks like. We'd love to get one of our agents out to your home to walk through a consultation with you of what that looks like. We're trying to establish the value of what getting you in the home does for you, which is meeting them, showing your value. But it is never saying, get somebody into your house to talk about selling it. So make sure that you are continuing those dots. And then we now are going to text the agents that are in our network. So as we text you, you added yourself to your zip codes. And in this zip code, this is the ranking of the agents who get texted first. This is how we respond to every single person out there. And it is a text message that fires off in this area of 47630. David Woods, do you want this client appointment Friday at 3 o'clock? If David doesn't reply, we move on to Rick and ask the same question. If Rick doesn't reply after 30 minutes, we continue moving on. We also know how many consumers are coming through into our ecosystem in every single zip code. So we have complete transparency into that. We have conversion transparency. We can show you and tell you who's in those zip codes. But this is a great way to get to the top of the list, which is featuring yourself. And that is where this raffle comes into play. So I am going to pop up a survey. That is the way that you can, give me a second, make sure that I tee this up. Why is my survey not showing up? Give me a second, guys.
So you're so transparent. You're sharing the lead that you're getting in your area or your zip code with everybody.
Exactly. And that is a question that gets,
nobody does that.
I was going to say, I've been in this industry forever and nobody ever does that. They're like, right. Oh, well, we don't know. I mean, we get about this much traffic to our site, but we don't really know how many people are going to click on it.
They're real vague.
Right. It's always a dance around. So I popped up on your screen. It should bring out a poll. And all you have to do is answer that poll. It's asking you if featuring yourself in a zip code would be something that you'd be interested in exploring, which essentially puts you at the top of the list for every single appointment that we set in the zip code that you feature yourself in.
Gotcha.
It also waives the referral fee and opens up a waived referral fee opportunity for anybody that we give you that's not an appointment. So you'd pay absolutely no referral fees on those. You can put not interested on it. It'll still enter you in the raffle, but I'll close out the poll in a second. While I'm doing that, I got a private message asking me if we will be at the RE/MAX R4 convention in a couple weeks, and we will. So sold.com will be there. And the next month after that, we will be at the Berkshire Hathaway event in Nashville as well. So if we have any RE/MAX folks, Berkshire Hathaway folks, or Century 21 in April, we will be at those 3 conferences. And then we will also be at the Tom Ferry Summit, which this month, Jeff, do you know what month? Is it July this year?
It's in August and it's in Anaheim.
Anaheim. Yep. So we'll talk about that as we get closer, but that is another great conference. And we tend to give out some discounted and free tickets to the Tom Ferry Summit as well. If you've never attended Tom Ferry Summit, prepare for your mind to be blown because you walk away like you can take over the world. So I'll give it one brief second before I do the raffle, because again, in order to enter in the raffle, you do that. Let's pull that raffle up. Let me share my screen.
Who's it gonna be?
Who is it gonna be? Let me share my screen so you guys can see what I am raffling off, because it's not any fun if you can't see the wheel spinning around. Window, here we go. All right, let's pull this up. Let's start the raffle, loading it up, and we are going to spin. So this is for a year of featuring yourself in a zip code. And
I love this.
Like our winner it's going to pop up, is Ismenia. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Ismenia, you have won a year of featuring yourself in a zip code. We will contact you to figure out what zip code you are interested in. For those of you who did not win, we do have our promo, which is allowing for you to feature yourself in a zip code for a $780 a year promo price. So if you are interested in taking advantage of that promo price, That expires tomorrow. So click the link. It will put you'll be able to put in the zip codes that you're most interested in. Our team will call you back from a 949 number, because the question I again, like I'm putting on you guys to ask is, we went through so many different tips and tools and amazing ideas. Now it's time to execute. Do you have the pipeline to execute that with? A lot of people say like, oh, I have a sphere of influence. Do you? Or is that just like a false crutch you've created for yourself? Do you have a sphere of influence that you can actually work and go implement these things with? Do you have a database of people that you can actually go implement these things with? Is your database been refreshed, right? Are we relying on a database that has maybe been aging and not that an aged database?
Are we adding people to it is the key, is adding more people.
Fill with marbles. You should always be filling your pipeline with new people that you can talk to, because they're all new tree branches coming out. So this is Sold.com is seller lead focused. What we find is, according to the National Association of Realtors, 82% of sellers also buy a home. So there's a lot of potential to double end those deals.
2 deals right there.
Yeah, to get them both. And then the friends and family referrals. So if you are interested in featuring yourself in a zip code, getting more leads from Sold.com, getting priority access to appointments, and unlocking a waived referral fee, fill out that form. Ismina, we will reach out to you with your free zip code. Jeff, thank you immensely. This was an incredible webinar. So much information. We will get the recording out. We will get the slides out. Yeah. I can't wait to have you back on in a couple of months. And we have our next webinar next month with Jared. So we will get those invites out for Jared Davis, who is another great coach. If you've not heard from him,
Jared's awesome.
To tune into. So Jeff, thank you so much for all of your time today.
As always. See you soon.
See you next time. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good one.